Have you been seeing my streams or just anyone's competitive gameplay and wanting to get involved in competitive deadlock yourself? This video aims to let you know exactly how you can do that, what are the steps that you need to take, and as well as some general tips for someone that might be new to competitive games. If you don't know me, I'm Deathy. I've been playing competitive games for a very long time, and I've been playing Deadlock since May. And I entered Deadlock tournaments pretty much as soon as they came up. I've participated now in, I believe, 3 Deadlock tournaments, soon to be 4. And so I believe I'm pretty qualified to let you guys know what the way to participate in these tournaments are. So to get started, we're just going to clarify what is competitive deadlock. So competitive deadlock is just a 6v6 organized environment where teams play each other. Usually it'll be either scrims or tournaments, and usually people scrim in order to be able to play well in tournaments after. So now that we've gotten that definition out of the way, what are some resources or things that you need to know in order to participate in competitive deadlock? So the first thing that you're going to want to know is, how do I get on a team? In order to participate in competitive deadlock, you need to have a team, and finding a team, I would say, is the hardest part. The reason for that is because, like anything, you need to get 6 humans that are on the same page, that have a similar schedule, similar goals, etc. So very often, it's going to be something that is a little bit difficult. In order to find a team, there's a few different ways. There's always the good old method of just, playing regular matchmaking, finding people that you like, adding them, and then eventually being like, hey, do you want to play on a team? And then kind of building a team that way. That method, I would say, is fairly reliable, but it takes a lot of time, and you need to find people that you like in matchmaking, and it's just, it's a lot of work. The alternative method is to go to places where people are looking for players or looking for teams. So right now there's a few resources, so I aim to share those with you, and it's mostly in the form of Discord servers. So I'll put all the link to the Discord servers in the description so that you guys can join them, and if you ever have any questions, just ask in the comments. The first Discord that I want to talk about is the Deadlock Core Discord right here. So this Discord has, a good amount of members, and it has a tournament LFT chat where people can post, whether they're looking for players or looking for a team. So as you can see here, you'll see, for example, Autodog X is looking for 2 players. He's looking for an Abram Shiv, Mo, and an Ivy and a Paradox player. DM him for more info. So things like that. So that's where you can, kind of get started and find a team a little bit faster. So if you're a player looking for a team, you can make a post, say a little bit about yourself, your relevant experience. For example, since Deadlock is a fairly new game, if you have any other competitive experience in other games, that might be a differentiating factor that can help you out. As far as other Discords, there's also the Deadlock Pugs Discord. I'll put the link to that one as well. This one has a looking for team and a looking for scrim channel. So this can be useful if you already have a team, but you're looking for scrims. And then the LF team channel is basically the same idea, right? So they're going to be like, hey, looking for a player for X tournament, looking for this person, looking for this Nico score. People like to use Nico score or MMR as like a measure of skill. Personally, I think it's kind of stupid because it's very unreliable, but it is what it is. And then the third Discord that I'd like to mention is the Downtown Showdown, which has organized 2 tournaments. So as far as the Downtown Showdown, they do have a channel. I believe it's called Looking For. And then you're looking for team, post here. Team Rawlogger is looking for players. So you can kind of look at this channel and see like, hey, there's these team that are looking for players, etc. I can reply to them, contact them, blah, blah, blah. So in terms of Discords, that's pretty much it. However, there are some other resources that you should be aware of. For example, how do you know what tournaments are happening? So I would say for this, the best resource is going to be the Liquipedia Deadlock website. So I'll put the link in the description as well. But here on the Liquipedia Deadlock, you have the list of tournaments. It's maybe not all inclusive, but usually if there's a tournament, it's going to be on Liquipedia. Very rarely is it not. And so you can just kind of look at the list and see, what tournaments are upcoming, what are the dates, etc. And usually if you click on them, you'll be able to do a quick Google search and, see how you sign up for those. There's the region, whether it's North America, Europe, world, Vietnam, China, whatever it may be. So I would say if you're struggling to find tournaments, this is the go-to. And then there's also another resource that you need to be aware of, and that is the draft room. So for competitive deadlock, people do drafts. So how it works is you'll create a room here. Usually you'll do, for example, tournament preset, which will be the preset for, the most recent tournament. And then you'll be able to just create the draft. And how it works is it'll create a room. And then in that room, once both captains have joined, so you'll copy the link to the other captain, you'll send it to him. And once both team captains have joined, you'll be able to ready up and start the draft. If you've played other MOBAs, it's exactly like that. So there's one ban for each team usually, and then teams are going to pick in a specific order. So this is essential if you want to scrim, but this is also going to be used for tournaments. So this website, I'll put a description as well, but it's called deadlock.guide/draft for the draft. Last but not least, I want to talk about how to set up your own custom lobby. So prior to the recent updates, you actually needed to have a server, which meant it was much harder to set it up. But now all you'll need to do is open the console, type private_lobby_create, and then instantly it'll create a lobby, and then you can copy the invite code, the party code right here. So if you just click here, it'll copy it. It's hidden by default. If you want to show it, you can click on this and it'll show it. Or you can also manually invite friends like this. So as far as the settings go here, you want to select the region. So whatever you want, whether it be US East or like depending on where you are in the world, just select the region that's closest to you. Obviously no bots. As far as specify lane assignments or default, this is preference based. It doesn't actually change much. Specify lane assignments allows you to see the lanes, but people can swap lanes anyway. So it doesn't really actually do that much. So up to you. And then here, visible only to players, you want to set as visible to everyone, because if you don't set it like that, people won't be able to download the replay unless they were the host. So you want to be visible to everyone so that, everyone can download the replay at the end if they want. And of course, cheats disabled. You can only have 2 spectators at the moment, but if you do visible to everyone, then anyone can spectate using the match ID as well. You can only have 2 real-time spectators, however. Finally, I'd just like to give some general tips for anyone trying to get into competitive. If you're just looking for the resources, there's not any more resources, so feel free to click out of the video. If you're wondering how you can become one of the best players, how you can get on a good team, etc., I would say the general tips that I have to give are, first of all, just like play a lot and practice with a good mindset. So don't expect to win immediately. Don't expect to be the best immediately. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. I've played almost 800 games of just regular matchmaking, and I've probably played, over 100 games of scrims. So I have a lot of play time, and anyone that's played, that's a competitive deadlock at a high level has a ton of play time. So it takes a lot of time, and, there's going to be a lot of losing in the process. So what's important if you want to be a good competitive player is to learn, what to take away from losses. So when you lose, instead of getting frustrated, ask yourself like, hey, why did we lose? What do we need to work on as a team, or also just individually? What's the reason that we lost? And if you have the right mindset, then I can almost guarantee that anyone can become like a really good player. It's just a question of mindset, putting in the work, and then just being analytic about your gameplay. The other thing that I'd mention is try to avoid people that are toxic or just overall have like a negative attitude, especially on a team. I've seen so many teams that are disbanding because they're toxic, or like the first sign that a player is doing poorly, they're going to kick them out, or, just an overall toxic environment. It's hard to find teams that don't have anyone that is toxic, but really I would prioritize that over a lot of other things, because if a team sticks together as 6 players for a long time, they're going to have a big upper advantage over other teams, especially in a game that has a lot of team play, such as this game. So really prioritize trying to find people that you're vibing with, that you think are good players. But like the mindset, once again, is really, really important in my opinion. So I wouldn't like settle for a team that has good players, but like a shitty attitude and just everyone's not having a good time. The last thing I want to say is just have fun with it. Even if you want to be the best player in the world, it's really important to have fun. People that have fun playing tend to play more, and they tend to play better. So just remember, it's a game. Even if you want to be a pro player, it's important to just have a good time and remember to kind of let go of certain things you don't have control over. So just try to approach it as a learning experience and just a good time overall. I hope these tips helped you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments. It'll be my pleasure to respond, and feel free to join my Discord as well.